And welcome back, everybody. How you guys doing? Hope you're having a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the big wide world. We are back. We're live. We're streaming once again, as always. So we are going to be covering the World Rapid and Blitz, the third and final day of the event. So of course we have the big matchup in the second round of the day between Magnus and Hans. So let's dive right into the game, which of course has just started. This better not be a quick draw. I doubt it'll be a quick draw, but we'll see. We'll see. So, okay, what do we have? E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6. Okay, will we get bishop C4 or will we get bishop B5? That is, of course, the big question. No handshake? Really? Okay, wow. I sound sick. I am a little bit sick. Sorry, you guys. I am a little bit sick, but that's okay. But what do we have? We have... Okay, we have classic Italian with D3 here. Let's see what Magnus plays. Castle C3, knight C3, knight PD2. All moves are pretty playable. The other player who's leading the tournament, of course, is Vladislav Artemiev. He's tied for the lead. He is white against Dominguez, so we'll pay attention to that game too. But obviously, the Magnus game is the critical one. So let's watch the game. Do I feel better? I feel okay. My throat's not as bad, but my voice is a little bit worse. So it's all kind of relative, but that's life. So okay, we got castles. Okay, H3, pretty standard so far. D6, D5, A6, all playable. Check out the latest tweets. I have zero interest in doing that. I don't know why anyone would pay attention to that guy. So, yeah. C3's played. Let's see what we get here. Probably A6 or A5 if I were to guess, but let's see. So we get A5. Pretty standard so far. Let's see if we get rook E1 or knight D2 or maybe A4. All three moves are playable. Thou who shalt not be named. Exactly. Get rook E1, bishop A7. Okay, pretty normal. Waiting for another move. Let's take a look at the other games very quickly. Let's take a look. Artemiev versus Dominguez looks pretty normal. Okay, Queen's Gambit accepted. Erdogmus on board 3 against Arjun. Also a big game between two great young players. So let's take a look. This game is okay, normal. So let's go back to Magnus. Bishop A7, all pretty standard. Bishop B3, knight D2, A4, knight A3 also I believe is a move here, so many options. So we got knight E7. Probably bishop B3 or knight F1 here if I had to guess. But let's see. My assumption is we'll get knight F1, but that's, yeah, knight F1 played, probably C6, knight G6, maybe bishop E6, maybe H6, but probably C6 or knight G6. One of these two moves will be played. I woke up early for this. I did wake up early for this. Am I rooting for Hans? No, I'm definitely not rooting for Hans in this game. I told you already, the person I'm rooting for in this tournament is Artemiev. I already said it early yesterday. So the person I want to win is Artemiev in this event. Get bishop B3 here. Let's see what we get. I'm not really rooting for Magnus either in this game. I mean, I'd probably be happiest with a draw. So you got C6. Probably knight G3 or D4. We'll see which move gets played here. Are we gonna get a table slam? Probably, yeah, probably. I mean, if Hans wins this game, for sure it'll be pretty ugly. I'll tell you that much. But I think Magnus is gonna play a very quiet game overall. If you were to ask me. I mean, I know you guys are being funny about like why would I root for Hans as he's from the US, but people conveniently seem to forget, like, he dragged me into that nonsense. So it's like I'll never root for Hans. Let's be real. I'll never root for him. So we get d4. Okay, so takes or d5. D5 takes, e4, knight e5, cd5 is a line. I think. Okay, we're at a very, very critical moment here. Very, very critical moment. I think d5 or e4 will be played. We'll see which one we get here. So let's see what we get. We get d5. So d5 was the move that I thought was the sharpest, because I guess takes, there's e4, right? And this is actually better for black here, according to the computer. So there's bishop g5, knight g3. I expect Magnus to use like 30 to 60 seconds here, because it is the very critical moment in the game already. So let's see what we get. I'm predicting this will be a draw. That's my prediction. It's identical to the last Hans game. It's very, very close, right? It's not quite the same. Hans's last game was similar though. Yeah, let's go back. Okay, so Hans game. Okay, this. Yeah, it was similar but a little bit different. Hans's previous game, little bit different. So let's go back. Yeah, I have a good sleep. I slept okay, not great. I am a little bit sick, obviously, but still, I felt like streaming, because what else am I gonna do other than literally lie in bed for the next like 5 hours? But it is what it is. It is what it is. Why am I supporting Artemi? Have any reason, or just in general? Probably just because he played the Global Chess League on my team, and he's just someone that someone that I like, so I feel like he's due for a good result. He doesn't have the opportunity to play that much, obviously, being from Russia. You know, there are issues, so that's probably the biggest reason that I'd like to see Artemiev do well. My assumption is Artemiev is going to play safe, or not Artemiev. Magnus is going to play something on the safer side this game. That's my prediction. So we'll see. Is the money bigger because they're in Qatar? No, I don't think so. Lying in bed with your son, though, actually, you know what's really bad is I'm not doing that right now because I am a little bit sick. So because I'm a little bit sick, I'm staying away from my kid at the moment. Probably in a day or two when I'm back to being good, I'll go back in the room. But right now I'm just staying in my room, and that's it. Like. Okay, so let's see. Knight g3, bishop g5, or ed5. Probably those are the three moves. No scores higher than 8. 3 players on 8. Magnus, Hans, and Artemiev. Or not Artemiev. Arjun and Erdogmus also on 7.5. Both players having a great run. Erdogmus especially. He's what, like 16 years old? Just ridiculous. Dominguez actually up there too, as well, on 7.5 out of 10. So gonna be exciting. Okay, we got bishop g5 for Magnus. Do I think FIDE pays Magnus to do something controversial? No, I don't think so. They're not smart enough to do that. They're not smart enough to do that. So anyway, let's see what Hans does here. Let's move around. Okay, our tennis game very slow, very slow, very slow. Not very exciting, so let's leave it here for now. Oh, sorry, it's 14, not 16. I mean, 14, yeah, that's a little bit different. Three-way tie, right? Correct, yes, three-way tie. Hans biting his nails? Okay. How is Gautham Chess doing? He lost a game apparently, so not great. No, so I don't really want to get into the camps thing, but I would just say that as usual, as usual, like in their infinite stupidity, Fide is acting ridiculous. Let's leave it at that. I don't really want to get into the weeds of that right now. I mean, I will just say that they're completely wrong, but at the same time, I'm not in the mood to end up in a situation where like something legal happens, and then of course, you know, I'll obviously I'll win something legally. I'll win something legally, but it also lead to a situation where I'm not going to play in the candidates. Let's leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. They already made legal threats, and basically they would lose in court. I know this because I've actually spoken to lawyers about this exact topic. But at the same time, if I were to push that button and they decide to go and decide to follow through, it's going to lead to a situation where I'm not playing the candidates, because of course I'm going to give them the big fuck you. So like that's basically the gist of it. Like I could, but at the same time, the outcomes are never going to be like positive for anybody. It's going to be very bad. That's just the bottom line. It's going to be very bad. So that's the bottom line. No, of course they would lose in court, but regardless, regardless, I don't want to be in a situation where I push that button and then they're like, okay, well we're gonna like file something legal. They'll lose over the course of like 6 months or a year or however long it takes, but in the process it means I'm not going to play the candidates, because of course I'll withdraw from the candidates if they try to pull that crap. So that's just what I'll say. I'm not going to say anything further, but that's just what I would say for now. Okay, Han's using a lot of time here. Let's see what we get. Hans was reaching for the H pawn. Okay. I mean, I told you what they try to claim, but anyway, we got h6. We'll get bishop takes, queen takes, ed5. Okay, let's see. We'll get takes and takes. What is Artemiev doing? Why is he thinking for so long? He's basically trying to play the optimal lines. I believe this is supposed to be close to equal, but it's slightly more pleasant for white. Do I think Magnus is nervous? Of course he's nervous. I'm gonna sneeze, so give me 1 second. Okay, so we got ed5, ed4. Okay, all pretty standard. Take with the pawn or the knight, probably on d4 here. Dubov is losing? Okay. Yeah. Probably got cd4 if I had to guess. This looks very, very dry. Like, is there knight h4? There is, yeah. I mean, very, very dry, but this is probably exactly what Magnus wants. We get cd4, we'll get takes, 93 probably. Let's see what we get. Do I expect more out of Ali Reza in this event, or do you think he will dominate the blitz? I mean, Ali Reza just has struggled in this rapid event. So yeah. So probably takes 93. Even this, is this actually that bad for black? Still rook d8, right? Pretty drosh, pretty drosh, pretty drosh. Very, very drosh. I don't expect this game to be decisive, by the way. I think this is going to be a draw. That's my prediction right now. I think it's going to be a draw. Okay, so Hans is thinking here. Let's see what he does. Arjun's playing against Erdogmus. Yeah. Can I beat Anthony Joshua in a 1v1 street fight? Thank you, you guys. Thank you. That's like asking me, can I beat a Mike Tyson? I didn't see a doctor. No, I mean, I'm pretty confident I'll be better with him. Oh, whoa. Or Hans can become hyper aggressive and play knight f4. This is actually a mistake. If Magnus plays knight g3 here, Magnus is actually better. Magnus is actually legit better. Legit better here. Legit better. Hans is basically going all in, trying to be the hero with the great knife and the two bishops. I think Magnus is going to win this game, though, because I think this is going to be too easy for white to play. And bishop e6, which is apparently the best move, does not feel correct to me as a human. Once you've sacked the juicer, you're looking to attack, and there is no... I can't draw diagonals. There's no big attack, so I don't think he'll play bishop e6. I mean, apparently you have to go bishop e6. Like, if you go here, knight e5, you're already getting cooked. So this could be a very, very short game. This could be a very, very short game. Yeah, he's relying on a big attack. They need a wandering bishop for the gift of sub to Shadok. Thank you so much. Do you think you cross Hans' mind during this game? Not during the game. Not unless he's winning, because then he'll probably put some ridiculous tweet out. But in general, no, I don't think so. But Hans is definitely thinking about... He's definitely thinking about tweeting if he can beat Magnus, for sure. For sure. For sure, that's what he's doing. I mean, Chess Mafia lost tweet. Yeah, I mean, you know, the thing that I find as I think about it more and more and more time passes, it's kind of crazy, because when I think about the whole thing, like, so much of it got pinned on Magnus, and or like people like myself, or like this nonsense that it was like me, Magnus, and I guess Danny's wrench or something. But the reality was so completely different. It's crazy that I think still so many people are under this illusion that it was different than it was. If Hans wins this game, he's got a good chance to win the tournament. Absolutely. Yes. Let's see if we get bishop e6. It's the best move here, but it's a tough move to play. I think Magnus is going to win here. Did Magnus leave the board? No, Magnus is still at the board. He does play it. Okay, not bad. Big moment here. Will we get knight to e4 or knight to e5, which are the two best moves in the position? Now, those of you guys who are wondering about we used Chess Stalker yesterday, and Chess Stalker said against Magnus you are supposed to complicate the position. So from that standpoint, Hans is doing a good job, because it is a little bit complicated. No, objectively, it's a reasonable try. It's just a question of whether Magnus finds the best moves. If Magnus doesn't find the best moves, it's probably a brilliant decision. Probably a brilliant decision to do this. So, yeah, thank you, Rand. Okay, you know, thank you, Rando. Yeah, thanks for that nonsense. I covered the news, you guys. I've spoken about it a lot. You know, I've covered the news. If you want to believe it's different, so be it. If you want to believe other top players didn't say things, so be it. Behind the scenes, like, okay, dude, like, seriously, chill out. We don't need to rehash. It's been 3 years. 95 is supposed to be the best move here. Yes. Takes rook d8 and rook a4. Let's see if we got 95. If Magnus plays 95, I predict he'll win this game. If he doesn't play 95, like 94, if queen g6, there's knight h4, right? So messy. I already spoke about the camshoe, guys. It's quite straightforward. I already said what I said. I could show them if I wanted to. Okay, we got 94, not 95. Okay, probably queen d8, queen g6, knight h4 does look very, very bad for black. So let's see what we get. Hans prepared from chess stalker, maybe. Yeah. I think Magnus has a great chance to win this game, though, truth be told. I think Magnus has really, really good chances. $95 is a little bit awkward just because it requires seeing this rook a4 move, which is not obvious. Not obvious at all. Let's move around. Let's take a look. Artemio's game looks incredibly boring. Erdogmus looks very boring. A lot of very dry games. Yeah, things are looking very good for Magnus if he wins this game. So, okay. All right. No moves. Let's go back to Artemio's game. Looks like a draw. Erdogmus looks like a draw. Shaq is maybe slightly better, but pretty boring. Yeah, a lot of boring games. So, Gukesh is playing Cristobal. This is a big chance for Gukesh here. He's got an easy pairing objectively. Playing a 25-86, big chance for Gukesh if he can win here. All right, let's go back. Let's go back to Hans' game. Yeah, if Hans gets too long on time here, things are going to start to fall apart. Okay, goes queen d8. That's a good move. 95 is the best move here. I don't expect 95 to be played, though. But maybe it will be played. This game is very imbalanced. Very imbalanced. Let's see what happens. 95 is the only good move according to the computer. Not an easy move to play here. So you hang d4. Queen d2 good? Queen d2 also a good move as well, but not as good. So I guess takes 96, weak pawn. Closer to a draw. Yeah, queen d2 is playable. Ali Rez is having a rough event. I mean, he basically played a 23-55 who outplayed him earlier and drew in the first round. Like, literally, if I pull up Ali Rez's game, it's kind of sick. He played a 23-55. Yeah, he played a 23-55. I don't know if this is like a 12-year-old kid or whatever, but we'll just pull it up very quickly. Okay, so Ali Rez has sacked a bishop, and then this kid just outplayed him the whole game. Goes here. Plays 94, finds f6, the best move, then finds this brilliant sack and knight f3, and Ali Reza was actually losing this game, I think, for a while. Actually, Ali Reza could have made a draw, but then they got this position, and Ali Reza was actually much worse here. And then the kid decided to force a draw. He just decided to force the opposite color bishop's endgame to make the draw. But very rough event, and it kind of shows how good and underrated so many players in the world of chess are, and why you see these kids or people who you've never heard of before doing so well in events like Title Tuesday, because they just don't have the opportunities to play against the best players in the world. Let's pull up Magnus again. Okay, Magnus played Rook C1, which I thought was a very rock solid move. Magnus just trying to play for a tiny advantage here. Magnus really taking the risk out of position. This is probably Magnus wants a 2-result game where he can't lose and he can only win. Apparently a blunder because of Queen C3. I think Magnus is going to win this game though. That's my early prediction, because it's drifting towards an end game where white is up a pawn and Hans will have to be extremely precise here. So I think it's drifting towards that direction. I think Alireza is overrated. He doesn't belong in the top 20. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, that's like the stupidest thing I've heard in a while, actually. Hans, if he's lucky, will draw the game. If he's unlucky, he will lose. Actually, unlucky is the wrong word, but wait. Takes Rook B2? Knight D6, and apparently white's winning here. Oh, because here come D's knights. Knight D6, very tough move to play here. It's a great move, but very hard to find. If Magnus wants to slow it down, he'll go B3, and the game will probably be a draw with like a slight advantage. But yeah, Magnus does slow it down. Magnus taking all the juice out of it. So Magnus here also showing that he just wants a boring endgame. So yeah, this B3 is basically the, you know what, I'm gonna take all the risk out of the position. It might be a draw, but only I can win, or it'll be a draw. Yeah, B3 is literally the no risk, zero risk. I mean, Hans will take the pawn, maybe rookie D1. This actually looks very good still. Yeah, I think Magnus is gonna win this game. I think Magnus will win this game. That's my prediction. Hans is thinking because he can't use an engine to see the best move, and after Rook D1 it looks pretty scary with all the pressure. Like, you see this, you'd see 2 towers on the 2 open lanes, the queen, the knight, everything's perfectly placed. I mean, this looks very scary for black. Honestly, I think Magnus would beat anybody from this position, by the way, including myself. I mean, any human, I should say. I think Magnus would beat any human from this position. Okay, so we get A4 instead. Logical choice. Now the big question is, will Magnus see this Rook D6 trick? Because it looks like they're all kinds of fossils with the pony to hit the queen, but you're hitting the queen and the knight. This is the big moment. If Magnus sees Rook D6, he'll grab the juicer. So Artemyev's game, very boring. Definitely a draw. Yagiz looks balanced here, but Yagiz very low on time too, by the way. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. Let's see what we get here. Do I have a routine I follow every day? I have certain routines, but mostly just like nutritional stuff. Nothing like specifically waking up at a certain time or anything. Also because I'm a little bit jet lagged too. That's the other problem. So I'll tell you guys what I did. You guys want to know what I did? Yesterday, after the stream ended around like 1 p.m. I think it was, I took a short break. I did my recap. And then literally I was like around like 3 o'clock. I just literally was in bed until an hour ago. So I was in bed for like 12 plus hours. Wasn't necessarily sleeping the whole time, but I was in bed for like 12 hours. Okay, Magnus does take the juicer. I'm okay. I'm a little bit sick, but I'll live. I'll live. Do you have to prepare for the cans or just play on instinct? You have to prepare. I think a human is going to be very tough to defend this for black. Stockfish, of course, would laugh and draw this 100 times out of 100. But I think for a human, this is going to be very unpleasant. And Hans is also low on time. Yeah, if Magnus sees Rook D6, I'm going to predict a big W for Magnus. That's my prediction. Yep, he finds it, unsurprisingly. I don't think it's Magnus' calculation. It's his ability to sense the type of positions to know where there's no risk, or like where it's almost like being like it's almost like how you see Amazon. You have this AI that calculates like the odd percentages of like a given play in football. He has a way of sensing the positions where there's like it's like mathematically the best chance to win with like very, very little risk, is what I would say. That's like what I would say. Hans is going to lose this game, by the way. This is going to be another Magnus Supreme. He's going to create the classic kebab on the 7th rank, combine that with a double stack here, an extra juicer on the queen side, threats like knight g3, knight f5 with a knife coming here. If Hans draws this game, I will be incredibly impressed. Like, incredibly impressed. Because this is going to require near flawless play. Especially with less time. Anybody on 7 out of 10 has got to win if they want to have a chance to win the event. I really don't expect Magnus or Hans to draw this. I think Magnus will win this game. Like, the problem is there's no obvious move. Like, Queen E5 is the best move on this engine. Rook B4, Rook E8. Is Rook E8 the best move or not? It's not, right? Rook D7, and now the kebab's in play with Knight D6, and it's like G3. Yeah, this is getting really, really bad. It's still probably in the range where you can draw the game, but you have to be very, 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 very precise here. I mean, Hans is still okay here. Like, it's still within the range where he can draw it, but I just don't think he's going to be able to draw it because he's down on time. And if he makes one wrong mistake, it's going to fall apart. And obviously, as someone who's played chess for so many years, the number of times you see a game where Magnus is just marginally better, and then you see like one blunder and it all collapses. I mean, literally, I could probably come up with 1,000 examples of that. This is a very bad move because it actually forces Magnus to go G3 here, which will also create space and cut off the AA battery. Like, if White were to play, say, Rook D3, suddenly you get tricks. And Magnus, of course, plays G3 immediately. Magnus is going to win this game. The time is going to be deadly here. Yeah, Rook D4 is a strong move. Let's see if we get it. Big shout out to everybody who's watching. It's fine. Fine Sunday morning. Hope you guys are having a great holiday. I'm trying to feel better, but we're here. We're covering the World Rapid Championship, so let's see how it goes. If Magnus wins this game and Artemiev doesn't win, I'm very hard pressed to see a world where Magnus doesn't win, especially because he'll have the draw in hand. He'll be able to make a draw if he wants to with black. He won't have to gamble and be crazy because he'll have a half-point lead. So I struggle to see. Artemiev drew. Yeah, Artemiev just draws quickly. So it's all going to come down to Arjun versus Yagiz Erdogmus, the 14-year-old insane kid from Turkey. Just ridiculous. I will say one separate topic, since a lot of people probably aren't aware of the lore. You know, one thing that's kind of crazy is what actually led to someone getting their account banned on chess.com the first time was specifically when they went after Erdogmus. It wasn't about Daniel or myself. It was actually when they went after Erdogmus and they're like, oh, he's like 3300 legends back, I think is his username, is Erdogmus' username, and that's actually what led to someone's initial ban, was when they went after Erdogmus. So it's great to see Erdogmus doing well. Josmum's done great recently. It's really great to see all these players. Lazovic, another guy, has had a great run. So it's really great to see. Apparently a blunder takes. Bishop f5 and white's better. But Erdogmus is low on time. Let's see. Magnus made a mistake. Yeah, but see, the thing here is that this endgame, again, is this a draw? Is this a draw or not? This is the question. I don't like Magnus playing knight d6 here, by the way. I really don't like this move because he's simplifying into an endgame where I think his chances of winning are significantly reduced. Like, this will be very easy for Hans to play. You put the queen, you play king up. Again, Magnus has won a million of these endgames, to be fair, so, like, I mean, he probably will find a way to win. But the chances of a draw are much higher for Hans than they were a few moves ago. I think time will catch up with Hans here, but let's see. I think that was a huge miss by Hans to not trade the queens. Like, queen e4 or queen e2 here would have given him very good chances to draw the game, I think. But now I don't think he's going to be able to ever trade the queens. If he can't trade the queens... Oh, apparently now rook d8 is very strong. But he is threatening queen e4 to force the trade now. Of course, Magnus finds rook d8, of course. Maybe you still have queen e4 here. But this one might be losing, right? Because the problem here is that now the rook cuts the king, or king can't get over. And I think white brings the king, and this cut plus the king marching up the board should be winning for white. Yeah, Magnus is going to win. Magnus is going to win this. Classic Magnus Carlsen. Just classic Magnus. Just too good in endgames. Basically just too good in endgames. Correct decision by Hans, but just too good. Now let's go back to Erdogmus. Rook c5. Too good, by the way. Too good. I'm just going to say these kids are too good. Erdogmus is 15 years old, and he's going to be a half point out of the lead after he beats Arjun. Like, just disgusting. Actually, just disgusting. Like, just disgusting. I mean, he's like 14. Oh, he's not even 15 yet. He's 14. Like, truly disgusting. Truly disgusting. How can someone be that good in endgames? Yeah, I mean, I thought someone said he had turned 15, but what do you want me to say, you guys? This is why I'm glad that I'm not going to be playing chess forever, because if I had to play 14-year-old kids who are young enough that they could be like my kids, or even like grandkids, like, that would be painful. That would be painful. Yeah, we got this endgame. So Magnus just walks the king over, and this should just be winning. I don't even think Hans has a way to save this. I think this is just very clean GG. Because your king is just cut. This is just a typical Magnus game. King d2, king c3. Here goes the juice. The juice is loose. The juice is loose. Yeah. Magnus wins this game, and he's going to be the sole leader in the tournament. The king is cut off from getting over. If black could get the king over here, for example, to this side of the board where it can be in front of the pawn, there are chances to save this. But right now the king is completely cut off, so the king can't get over to stop the pawn because of this tower. This tower cuts the whole thing. Yeah, now rook d4, b4, king b3. The rest is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just so clean for Magnus. Just too good. Really just too good. Shaquille O'Neal is winning on board 4. Oh, Shaquille beat Noterbeck. Wow. Big win for Shaquille. So Shaquille O'Neal now moves into the hunt with 8 out of 11. Magnus will be on 9, though. So Shaquille's going to be 1 point out of first place. I believe F4 is good, but I think B4 is also good enough, too. Yagiz misplayed it. Still looks very good for him. One second, I'm gonna sneeze again, so give me a second. Wait, is there D3? I don't know, 1 second, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, rookie 7. Rook d7 now. Rook d7 cuts the pawn. Knight g6. Too good. I mean, really just too good. Too freaking good. Too freaking good. Too good. Just too good. Knight g6 is winning. I think knight d3 winning. Knight g6 looks clean. Yep. Wowzers. Too good. 14 years old and too good. You just take all roads lead to Rome here. Wow. I should put that song. What was that Turkish song? There was a Turkish song I played the other day. We'll put that on before the next round. It's Icky. That's what it is. Icky Deli. Yeah. We'll put that on. Oh, let's find it. If I can find it, that is. Let's get back to Hans's game, by the way. Did Hans resign yet? No, but it's about to be over. Where is it? I don't actually see the song, but I'll find it again. I do have it up on the other monitor, so I am looking at it. Hans does not look happy. B7. Also, here you're building a bridge as well. You've got a bridge with the rook on the 4th rank. So basically, you just build the classic bridge, and you go here. It's a classic bridge. Here. Classic bridge formation. Let's refresh. Yeah, it's just a typical bridge formation to win the game. Erdogmus is losing. That's got to be a relay error, right? No, this isn't what happened. He played takes, and the game's still ongoing. I don't like rook h4, by the way, but still. Yeah, this isn't what happened. Hans has resigned the game, right? Yeah, Hans has resigned the game. So it's all over for Hans Niemann. He is not going to become the future first American rapid chess champion. His dreams and hopes die today as he loses to Magnus once again. So brutal. Okay, let's get back to Erdogmus. There's just a relay error in the Erdogmus game. What happened was rook takes h4 takes and something like this. I hope the board refreshes. Yeah, the board's not refreshing. Erdogmus is going to win, though. Let's take a look at... Maximus is losing. Apparently. Apparently f4, f5 just winning here for white. Wait, is white going to take a draw here? What? I mean, you got to win this game here. You got to go f4, f5. What is this? Yeah, f4, f5. I mean, you're trying to win first place in this tournament. You can't make a repetition here with white. Insane. f4, f5 was very obviously the best line. They fixed the relay? Okay, let's go back. Probably just f5 here. It's clean. Okay, now you should be winning with the tickle checks everywhere. There's also just a5. a5 also just very, very concrete here to win the game. Too good, by the way. Too good. My clip went viral in Turkey because Icky Deli means two crazy guys, and you play that song when we were playing Magnus. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, just h6 here. Like I said before, I'm glad that I don't intend to be playing chess for another 20 years, because if I were having to play against kids who are 14 years old who are just as good and are just a major pain in the you-know-what to face, would not be a fun experience for me. It's rook d7. Also, rook d6 good enough because you have just f5. Yep. Just check. h7 also wins too, I guess. h7 also good enough, so it's just a matter of choice here. Hikaru dislikes stupid kids. They're too good. They're just too good. They're too good. I'm not going to comment on the Blitz. The reason I'm not going to comment on the Blitz is, unlike Rapid, you can't really switch around a lot and follow the game. So Erdogmus, my God, what a win. Jeez. Somehow Maxime has swindled this from a dead loss position to a winning position. Yeah, Queen A8 wins here. Insane. Also, you guys, I'm a little bit sick as well, so like I mean, I'd actually rather be asleep right now than covering this, so if I'm being honest. So like I'm covering this today, but like I need to get better. What is that? That's a ridiculous move by Maxime. Why did he play queen g7 check? Queen a8 was GG on the spot. Ay, ay, ay. Now rook a6, and it's a draw. Just a draw. Trying to find the song, but I can't find it right now. Anyway, okay, this should be a draw. Yeah, it's gonna be Magnus versus Erdogmus next round for sure. But let's take a look at the results. Okay, let's go back. Results. What are the results here? Let's take a look very, very carefully. Results are very simply. We currently have Magnus leading with 9, Erdogmus and Artemiev on 8.5. We have Smoke, Shimonov, Sindarov, Wesley So out of nowhere on 8, Dominguez and Shaquille O'Neal also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on 8, 2 on 8.5, Magnus alone on 9. So next game is going to be the big one. Magnus is going to get black against Erdogmus. And if Erdogmus can beat Magnus, he will have a great chance to become the World Rapid Champion. So next round is also going to be extremely hype. How's Wesley in the top 8? Because he's just been slowly crawling up the leaderboard. Wesley only has a couple. Wesley's drawn a lot of games, but he started off okay. Lost the first round, won 3, 2 draws, a win, draw, win, draw. So mostly, I think it's because a lot of people have been drawing. That's why. Blunder? What blunder? Wait, what? Now King C6 wins, right? This is just winning. You push your P up the. So bad. So bad. I mean, both players played this horribly. I mean, I cannot believe. How do you not play F4, F5 here? Like, it's so obvious to just push and try to break through. You're down a pawn in this position. How do you not go F4? Like, this actually is very, very obvious. I don't know how you don't do this. It's very, very obvious plan, and White's just winning. I think this is the last big game of the round, right? If we go back. Yeah, last big game of the round. Yeah. Okay, Maximus wins. Maximus Decimus will be on 8. Okay, I don't know what this is. Let's go back. Okay, most games over. Let's take a look. Still a lot of active games. No relevant games. Only this Maxime game. Everything else not relevant to the standings. Yeah, Erdogmus is going to play Magnus. Okay. Leave it here. I don't know who Artemio is going to play, actually. No idea who he'll play. No idea. King G4. Okay, still some tricks. This is actually a draw, by the way. Still tricks. It's a win? Ah, Rook F5. Not an obvious line, by the way. Yeah, Maxime makes a mistake. It's actually a draw now again. Wow. Okay, H6 a draw here, by the way. I still think Maxim could win here, by the way. Okay, rook c8, rook h1, king g5, a3, rook h8. Rook a8's a draw. This is a... Oh, you have rook a5. Wow. But still, it goes on. It's still... Oh, wait, no, now you can take. King d4 is winning here. Okay, but that's tough. Yeah, this rook a5, rook h5, Maxime missed for sure. This will be a draw. Chess is a tough game. Yes, king f3, of course. The only question is, will Yu Yang miss rook a5? But I don't think he will. Yeah, king f3 here, then you make the tickle check, and it's just a draw. Why is he thinking so long here? King f4, c2 loses. King f5 obviously loses. I mean, he doesn't play king f3 here with 20 seconds on the clock. I mean, what is this nonsense? Are you kidding me? What is this trash? Okay. I mean, what is this garbage? King f5? Are you kidding me? I mean... Garbage. I can play better than this. I can play better than this. I'm like, I mean, that's terrible. I mean, to be fair, I also beat MVL twice in the Global Chess League, to be honest. So maybe that's not saying very much in a way, but yeah. Hikaru's not participating because his wife recently gave birth, and he was not going to be a terrible person and go away for like a whole month in a row. Hikaru has enough money as is, so he decided to play a tournament which he was already contractually obligated to play in, which was the Global Chess League. He skipped freestyle, and of course he skipped the World Rapid and Blitz because maybe he wants to go into the room, look at his little baby, see the baby open his eyes, and actually enjoy life. So there's your answer. Anyway, 3 games left. Okay, did Maxime win? I mean, this is such trash. I mean, get this off my screen. This is garbage. Okay, this game will probably be a draw. You know what's funny? I had this endgame. I had this endgame in my recent road to the candidates against the 2100. I had this exact endgame, but there was no pawn on the A file. Anybody who watched my road to the candidates recently, I played 2100 in Washington, D.C., and I had this exact endgame with this 2 rooks and a pawn versus a rook, bishop, and a pawn. I had this exact endgame. Let's move back to regular stuff. I mean, Yagiz is a great player. You know, it's funny. I had a conversation with Shakir when we played in the we were on the same team in the German Bundesliga, I think like a year ago now. And we're talking about Erdogmus, and I was like, he's going to be like 2650 plus. I don't know how good he's going to be. And Shaq was like, no. He's going to be like 27 plus for sure. He'll be like world champion. And I was like, okay, like maybe. But Shaq was like really bullish on Erdogmus's future. And he's being proven right. Am I saying something about Magnus? No, I'm not saying anything about Magnus. No, I'm not insulting anyone. If I'm simply saying that I'm not going to go away for a whole month. How do I financially invest in chess players early? You can't. But Erdogmus is very, very well supported. There's a Turkish billionaire supports him and Yagiz Erdogmus. The company, I forgot what the company is, but the guy literally, the Turkish telecom company, I think like Alibaba owns like 15%. So it's like super legit, super legit. So let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's Trendyol. That's what it is. Trendyol, I think, is what it is. But yeah, anyway, I mean, Alibaba owns like 15% with like $1 billion stake. So the guy's legit loaded and supporting both those kids in a very serious way. So both those kids are going to have a great future ahead of them. Any Polymarket advice? Okay, you guys want Polymarket time? Okay. Polymarket, let's go to Polymarket. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Magnus 77% here. Is black next game against Erdogmus? I would be betting on Magnus here, by the way. I'd be betting on Magnus here. This is basically 25% return, 25% return. I mean, you're talking about a huge return relative to like the S&P. If we talk about realistically the stock market, you're talking about 25% or 20% now because it's spiking. I think 20%, I would take that. 20% is nothing to sneeze at. I know everybody who goes on the internet sees Twitter and everything else. You see people like 70% or 100% or 200% in crypto garbage or something like Palantir calls or Nvidia calls or Micron or whatever it might be. But 20% is nothing to sneeze at. And I think I would probably take that. I think that's cheap. I think Magnus should be higher. That's what I would say. And the reason I say that is because Magnus is going to have white in round 13. Let's assume Magnus draws Erdogmus. He's going to have white in round 13 with all the marbles in play. Magnus, the greatest player greatest player alongside Gary of all time, with the white piece in the final round, a clutch situation. I'm digging 20%. I'm digging 20%. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say. 20%, nothing to sneeze at. I mean, like realistically, if I could bet, I would bet on that. Just so you know, I would. I would bet on that actually, 20%. But all right, let's get back to the other games. Okay, this game was a draw. Is this investment advice? No, of course this. Oh my god, we still have the game going. It's not investment advice. No. I'm not allowed to bet you guys because Polymarket is legal in the USA. Wait, what? It is? Let's see. Okay. They sent the code to my spam. Impressive. Oh no. No, it's not legal in the US, you guys. So no, you can't, you guys. Well, let's refresh. Let's take a look at the odds. Yeah, I mean, I basically, what I tell you guys is when I look at these odds on things, as someone who knows chess very well, I would basically say that 20%, if you think about just investments in general, 20% is a very good return. Like, that's a very, very good return. Of course, we can talk about, you know, the amount of money people have or don't have, but 20% is a very solid return. And I think that Magnus should be higher than 80%, because he's going to have white in the last round unless he gets really, something really weird happens and he gets 2 blacks in a row. It's legal. It just said it's not legal in your jurisdiction. That's what it said. I tried to log in. It said it's not legal. Risk is huge. I mean, if you were to ask me if there's anybody I want to bet on, it would be Magnus. The difference between that and S&P is that if you lose all your money, so you're not comparing to marbles. Sorry, you guys. I actually usually don't. I actually do a lot of stuff in derivatives, so it's a little. It's basically apples to apples for me. But hey, whatever. Anyway, let's go back. But yes. Anyway. Okay. We don't have any games, so we're at the break. So I'm gonna go use the restroom, and we'll be back. You lose it all if he loses. I feel comfortable with those odds. 20% is nothing to sneeze at. So that's what I would say. Triple short Tesla. I still have my calls in Tesla. Actually, you guys, I'll tell you about one position I still have, which is going to be a maximum win, which is in Tesla. I have the I bought the 300-400 call spread for January 2026 all the way back in August of 2024, I believe it was, when Tesla was like 192, and I got it at 6-1 odds. So I'm very, very familiar with betting and all that stuff. So like trust me, I'm very, very familiar with all of it. I mean, 600% is obviously a lot better than 20%, but that's beside the point. So okay, we're waiting for round 12, which hasn't started yet, so let's wait for round 12. It will start fairly soon. Apple also was another one that did very, very well. I had a 425.20 and a 600-700, both for January at like basically 3-1 plus, so like 3-1 odds. So very, 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 very good, very, very good run. Pairings are not out, or they are? Round 12. Okay, we have Erdogmus versus Magnus in round 12. The big matchup that everybody wants to watch. I would predict that Erdogmus, the thing that he needs to do if he wants to play well in this game, is not get low on time. When you get really low on time against Magnus, it doesn't work out. It's something that can work against almost any other player, but against Magnus, we saw it with Ray Robson. It didn't work at all. So I think that for Erdogmus, he has to not get down to like 1 minute. He needs to be sharp, solid, and not get too low on time. That's the recipe for a good result. I like dividends. Mo actually was a stock that I owned for a long time, and then I decided to sell some cover calls, so I don't own it anymore. It's 57. I think I got out at around 50, but yeah, it's a great dividend pair. Great dividend stock. I'm more of a BDC, business development company guy, so like there's stocks like Main, MAIN, which I think still is a pretty decent dividend. Obviously I bought a lot when it was in the low 30s before the candidates in 2023. So like, I mean, I'm no stranger to dividends. It just depends. But all right. This is round 12. I'm going to take my first break, go use the restroom. We'll come right back. A big shout out to everybody who's watching. It's been a very, very hyped day. And we'll keep going with round number 12 in a second. So I'll be right back, you guys. Oh, I muted my mic. Sorry. Apologies, you guys. So what I was going to say is, someone was saying Erdogmus is so underrated. One of the problems with ratings is that because there's so many ratings that are distorted where people aren't able to play over the board, but they play so much online, a lot of people look at people online and they start playing like great chess, and you're like, wow, but this guy's 2300, something's wrong. But it shows just how much online chess I think is arguably a better reflection than over the board chess when it comes to faster time controls, especially. No, Erdogmus is 2446 in rapid chess. Same thing. Erdogmus 2446. Seen to move ahead is 2405. I mean, both those ratings are ridiculous. They're complete nonsense. As a Turkish guy, we rarely see good chess players in our country. That's why we're kind of excited, and that's why we're all asking when it comes to Erdogmus. Yeah, I mean, he's a super talent. We'll see how far he goes, but I would probably eat my hat if he doesn't reach top 20 in the world. He's going to be 2700 plus almost for sure, just based on the quality of his play in these events, playing like beating Arjun, Nihal, and everybody. So I expect him to be 2700 plus. Whether he gets like 2750, top 10, etc., hard to judge, but he will definitely be a top 20 player for sure. For sure, there's no doubt. For sure, he'll be a top 20 player. There's no doubt in my opinion. Now Edis Gurel is the other player, also very good. I think he also will probably get close to 2700, but because he's a little bit older, I don't necessarily see the same like unlimited upside in that same kind of way. But I think he definitely could also be very strong. But Erdogmus is definitely the strongest junior player in the world right now, without a doubt. Just because of the age he's at and how strong he already is. Like if we look at Faustino Oro, who's a great player. Faustino's very young to the point where he'll probably get GM and better for sure, but a lot of things can happen along the way that will change his trajectory. Alireza's result is just the reality of not basically he's playing people who are too good. I mean, he's playing people who are underrated and dangerous. He's also struggling against the players who are from his former country as well. So I think there are many things for Alireza. But let's see what we get here, because this is going to be a big game. This will be a very, very big game. By the way, you are the best chess streamer. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Game should be starting in a second. Alireza will definitely do better in the Blitz for sure. More watching your stream than Chess 24, of course. Thank you. Streaming on Sunday while sick, you're such a busy bee, Hikaru. You know what I would tell you guys is very simple. I love streaming. I always have. I probably always will. Really, really enjoy streaming. But what I would say is also, like, I'm very cognizant because of all the struggles, trying to, you know, succeed in chess, frankly, to make a living and to be where I'm at with the success I've had, that, like, you know, I really will do all I can to provide. And, you know, it's fun. I make money. It's all good. Like, I've never forgotten where I come from, I guess is what I would say. Like, someone would be like, yeah, who cares? It's just a couple hours. You're sick, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're rich, whatever. But I still, like, I don't take anything for granted even at this point. Were you ever a research analyst, or how do you stumble upon stock journey? I spoke about this before. This will probably be in the book that I'm writing right now. There was this book called that I read when I was like 14. My mom gave it to me. It had a CD in the front of it. It was called I think the only proven road to investment success. Let me see if I can find the book. Yeah, it was a book written in 2001. It was called The Only Proven Road to Investment Success. It has a CD. Like, if I open the image, like, you guys can even see the image. Let me make it really big. See, it even came with a CD. It was like really spiffy. It came with a CD. So I think my mom bought this book for me when I was like 13 or 14 in 2001. And it was a book that was actually written by someone who lived in the same apartment building that I did growing up. So I read this book, and it basically got me started on the whole journey of everything. So it started with that, because obviously, you know, one thing that I think people don't really understand, because most of my audience is probably not in the US, and this doesn't apply outside the US, is how much of a struggle it is to try and make a living as a chess player. Because reality is, in chess, there's no financial support. I actually spoke about this recently with someone I know, and even for me, I never got a sponsor for chess until I was like top 10 in the world. Red Bull was the first like outside sponsor, outside like a private individual, giving me a little bit of money here or there. So I really had no support. And when you have no support, oftentimes you're looking for things that'll support you along the way. And the two things, of course, that I got interested in were obviously poker and, of course, the stock market. Both those things. So, like, from a young age, I was very cognizant. You even see it with like Mishra, who's 16 years old right now. He talks about how he's going to probably go to college and get a degree and quit chess because he doesn't have, there's no like stability behind playing chess and doing it as a career. So that's why for me, it was very, very important. If you want to ask for a book that I recommend, probably the easiest book. I know that mutual funds are out of date these days, but another book that I read that was very, very useful was Mutual Funds for the Long Run. I believe it was no, I think it was called Bogle on Mutual Funds was the title. It was written by Jack Bogle, the CEO of Vanguard. That's actually a very, very good book. Nowadays, it's probably a little outdated because nobody does mutual funds, but still, the concepts in there around it and the fact that you can just buy the market with ETFs or mutual funds is very, very useful, I would say. Were there individuals who support you doing it pro bono? I was using my own money, you guys. My mom went to the Scottrade office with me and she opened a UTMA account. Like back then, you couldn't do things on the computer, so we had to print out the papers, I had to fill them out, go down to the Scottrade office with my mom, and she had to sign off on it, and I had like $10,000. This is when I was 16, I believe. Waiting for the game to start. Should be starting pretty soon. Let's see if there are players there. Yeah, the players are at the board, so we're going to be starting in a second. That was like all the money I had, you guys. Like, that's like all the money I had. Can we get E4? Get E5, knight C6, bishop B5. Okay, Magnus plays A6. He does not play the Berlin defense. So probably bishop A4 will be played here. Okay, all standard so far. Probably rook E1 here. Let's see what we get here. I already spoke about it earlier. I don't really want to get into like drama again, but I basically say there's basically FIDE is making threats, and I know that legally I'm in the right because it's literally just the board, and I'm in the right if I show up. But they're making threats, and I don't want to end up in a situation where basically what happens is, you know, I show the cams and they get angry and then they file some lawsuit or some nonsense, which will take a lot of time, and they'll lose, of course, in the long run. I already know this. But what will happen then is it'll be a situation where I'm not going to play the candidates because obviously I'm not going to play a FIDE event if they're going to pull that nonsense. So I just would rather not end up in that situation. That's the bottom line, because it's not a broadcast. It's literally the board. With no commentary, no nothing, no audio. But like I said, I don't want to end up in that situation, because if that happens, like if I do show it and then like they do something stupid, we're gonna be in a situation where obviously I'm not playing the candidates, because I'm gonna basically say fuck you. So that's just the gist of it. So let's see what Erdogmus does here. Okay, we have Magnus playing his old favorite line. This is what's known as the Breyer setup. Magnus, when he was a kid, really loved playing the setup a lot. Really loved playing the setup. Probably knight d2 or a4. Magnus and I also have played a few games in this Breyer as well. I think knight d2 and a4. But also, the other day, no one wants to deal with that anyway. Like even if you know that you're going to win legally in court, it's going to take a lot of time. And like, what's the upside? Everybody wastes a ton of money, and there's no upside. It also means that I'm not going to be playing the candidates then. So I don't really feel like pushing that button right now. That's just a very simple answer. Get knight d2. Knight g3. Okay, all pretty standard here. C5, G6 are the two main moves here. Computer says A5 is playable. I think G6 is the main line. G6, I believe, is the main line here. Okay, let's see what's going on. Let's take a look. Looks pretty normal so far. Magnus looks very chill. Let's see what Erdogmus does here. Bishop d3 is probably the best move here because you hit the pawn and you guard the pawn on e4, but let's see. So, okay, let's see what we get here. Am I fine? My voice sounds different. I'm a little bit sick, but I'm still here because it's fun to cover this. Why not? I won't be covering the Blitz, but I'll still be doing recaps. Good move. Hits the pawn. The point here is to tickle the pawn. It's actually not about guarding this. It's about tickling this pawn. Trying to get black to push or have to play something like c6. You're trying to ask black, what is black doing about this pawn on b5 here? Second board is Artemiev versus Sindarov. Okay, this looks very solid. Oh, Sindarov. Who did Sindarov beat? I thought. Wait. Sindarov beat Parham Magsudaloo. Okay. I signed up to kick just now because the official casts were so bad. I don't know what you guys want me to say. I've heard a lot of people say that, and it's what it is. It's what it is. Let's move around. This looks pretty standard. See. I believe NRK is restricted, right? NRK is restricted to Norway only, I believe. Which is also why it's so comical, because if anybody was like actually had a problem with me like showing the cams, it would have to be like NRK or Chess 24. It wouldn't actually be FIDE, but like whatever. Okay, Dominguez Shimanov looks very boring. Maxime Wesley looks boring. A lot of boring stuff here, so let's leave it on Magnus this game. There's Bishop G5. There's also Bishop D2 here. Multiple moves. Favorites to win the Blitz, obviously Magnus, obviously Alireza. Chess 24 of emotes of your face too. Nice. Okay. Erdogmus playing well so far. Takes, I think you take with a bishop, right? Got a nice wooden shield here on C3. Yeah, Erdogmus is gonna be serious player, very serious player. I'm really excited to see what happens with his career. Gonna be a very, very serious contender. I think Erdogmus could win the Blitz too, by the way. I think Erdogmus definitely could win the Blitz as well. Definitely could win. I'm from Norway. The broadcast on NRK is a joke unless you don't have a clue about chess. That's too bad. Too bad. Oh, I forgot about Hans. Hans could do something, but I think if you ask about Erdogmus based on where he's at right now, he's probably the second greatest junior player of all time after Magnus. I would say that just based on the trajectory of where he's at rating wise at 14, considering how ridiculously good he is at Blitz 2. Oh, come on. What is this? Another draw? What? And this, you guys, is why now I'm going to tell you guys, for all the people who talk about chess, you know why these guys drew their game? I'm going to be honest. They drew their game because they see the prize money. They see the prize money. They want to make sure that they get like their 50 grand out of this. And that's actually the life of being a pro chess player. You want to make sure you get that dough. You got to make sure you get the payday. So for both these guys, they're happy to draw. If there's a chance they're going to take it, they'll go for it in the last round. But I mean, second place is what? Let's go back. What's the prize? Prizes. Second place is 50,000 euros. Third place is 36. So these guys want to get paid. And that's actually the biggest thing that I've said before, is like, you want to lock it in. Chess players are great at managing risk. They're glorified risk managers, in my opinion, at the top level. So they want to guarantee they get some money, and it's better to guarantee that you're going to get at least like 30, 40 grand, because that's a lot of money, than to risk getting nothing. So that's the reason. Just the reality of chess, you guys. Also, another quick draw down here as well. You just got to make sure you get that payday. You got to make sure you get the money. Chess players are broke boys. If you can get 50,000 euros, there are no other terms in the entire year you can make that much money, except for the Esports World Cup. Just the reality. Just the reality. Okay, c6 is a dubious move here. Magnus is trying to gamble a little bit here and get Erdogmus to think and make a mistake. Good thing with Erdogmus is he won't be thinking about money at 14. That's actually a good thing. That's actually a good thing with chess players, because as you get older, all these other life things play a huge role in the decisions you make. Okay, knight to f5. Aggressive move. I like it. I actually like knight f5 here from Erdogmus. It might not be the best move, but I like it. But isn't Sindarov eventually earning in the Canis? I was talking about Artemiev more than Sindarov, to be honest. But yes. I don't blame them for taking a payday. I've said from day one of my streaming career, from day one of my streaming career, I've said very clearly, like, chess players do not get paid well. Like, all my issues from 2017 onwards were specifically related to financial stuff. Because like, it's very stressful playing chess professionally. Very, very stressful. I'd also argue when you play events like the Grand Chess Tour, everybody's looking at it as the seasonal payday, and you want to make sure you keep getting invited back. So people don't take risks. They don't play their best chess because you're incentivized to not take risk. That's the reality. That's actually the reality of modern day chess. I mean, obviously certain places are different. Like, I'm just talking from like a US centric view, but in general, it's true. Like, Artemiev was a good example. I mean, he probably will not make $50,000 in a single tournament, literally anywhere. Literally, he probably hasn't made that much money in a tournament, like literally like years, if ever. So it's totally justifiable, and I mean, I completely understand it. I completely understand it. I mean, I get it. I completely get it. As someone who's played chess professionally for a long time, I mean, I totally get it, and I understand it completely. It's the right decision to make. Okay, Magnus thinking here. Let's see what we got. The problem for Magnus here is the best line is apparently to trade and go c5. But Erdogmus is all of 14 years old. He's a guy who's really tactical. These kids are really sharp. And this might be good, but Magnus doesn't want a tactical game against a kid, because kids are ridiculously good at tactics. So you got something like g5. This is actually good for white. So that's why Magnus is using time, because he doesn't want a tactical game. He's playing a kid who's 14 years old. You don't want to go into tactics against kids. They're too good at tactics. You want positional play. That's what Magnus is trying to figure out how to do here. Market logic has ruined everything? What do you mean market logic? What do you mean by market logic? You mean just being practical about the financial end of it? Is that what you mean? I think Magnus will probably find it, but he is using a lot of time here. So I think eventually he will go for this. But let's see. Because Magnus is also, he has played Erdogmus in Title 2s. And I think Erdogmus has actually put up great resistance. So Magnus definitely knows that Erdogmus is no pushover. Maxime drew 2. What? Draw. Wow. Like I said, you guys, you got to get that payday. It's better to get the payday than to take the risk. It's better get the payday. I told you guys, everybody hates it, but like I just keep it real. I played chess professionally for enough years to know the name of the game. The name of the game is not to win. The name of the game is to ensure your payday. Probably bishop c2 here. Keep the bishops on the board. I mean, the position is, it's just a game of chess. The thing is this knight good or not? Because the knight's not actually doing anything here in the structure. Only financially independent guys like you or Magnus can play the real game. I mean, that's the irony, is my chess has improved since I became a streamer. That's actually the great irony. Like, I play much better chess now than I did when I was a pro chess player. Probably because I had to worry about the economics. Ooh, I don't like... not a big fan of this. This is starting to turn into a positional game, and this is where Magnus really excels. Yeah, Magnus really excels in his positional games. To be fair, this is extremely solid. We've got a symmetrical pawn structure, like rook b1. But this feels like it's going in the direction that Magnus wants. Very much so. Like, at some point, you're going to have to go knight g3. I mean, and this is such a Magnus game. It's going to go like g6, rook a8, rook b8, bishop g7. It's still fine for white, but this is definitely going in a direction that Magnus wants. This is exactly what Magnus wants, 100%. Just a slow positional game where the pieces stay on the board. Chances to outmaneuver his opponent. Yeah, logical. Probably knight g3 to guard the pawn again, because you always have this issue. Something like this, and you lose this pawn. So probably need to bring the knight back to guard, but... I mean, you could trade. There is c4 here, which is very explosive, potentially. I think Erdogmus should take and play c4. But I guess Magnus will probably take with a queen. Something like this. What's going on here? Still very equal. Very, very equal. Why do you think there's no money in chess compared to esports, for example? At the very top, there is money in chess. But it's really confined to the top 10 or 15 players in the world. It's really, really confined. Okay, waiting for a move here. Let's see what we get. Have I considered professional chess commentary? No, and the reason I would never do it is because I would be diluting my brand. Also, chess.com can't pay me the amount that I make from streaming and just doing commentary like this. Okay, we're waiting for a move here. I don't like the time usage here from Erdogmus. Really nothing. I mean, I guess we've got Hans versus Shaq. This looks incredibly boring. Like rook b2, rook a6 if you take. There's some knight f2, right? And there's like this rook f6. Take a look at other games. This is not a Italian. This is a Queen's Gambit declined. Yeah, it's a Queen's Gambit decline is what this is. Very, very, very dry. But we have so many draws here on the top board. So many draws. Ooh, this is a move I don't like, by the way. Takes. Ah, there's 96. Aha, there's a trick. Okay. Have to go bishop e3 here, but this... What is this? Takes. Very much a Magnus game, though. This is very much a Magnus game. Up on clock. Very, very dry, very positional. This is exactly what Magnus wants. Exactly what he wants. Exactly what he wants. Exactly what Magnus wants here. That's a terrible positional move. I mean, black's definitely better. Yeah, c4 is an awful move by Erdogmus. That's an awful move. Awful positional move. Probably the nerves and the pressure just getting to him. Yeah, it's a terrible positional move. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, Magnus is going to win this game. Yeah, c4 is just I mean, it's not a losing move, but it's a very bad positional move. Magnus is going to win this game, by the way. Take a look over here. Yeah. Serrana's beating Fabi. Fabi's had a very rough event as well. So many people have had bad events. Knight f4 is just winning. What? Queen f5? Just knight e2. Yikes. It's because basically you create weaknesses where there's there are two squares for the knight, and the knight comes to c5. Yeah, Magnus will win this game. Yeah, he'll learn from this experience, obviously. But c4 is a surprisingly bad decision. Erdogmus generally has very good positional understanding. c4 is a terrible move. Matt, sports betting is silly. Magnus is a clear favorite. He's not 90% clear. I mean, I said when he was like 77% earlier. I mean, 20% plus is nothing to sneeze at. Am I sick? I'm a little bit sick. Yeah, it's a little bit nasally and everything, but that's life. That's life. That's what it is. What it is, as the old saying goes. It is what it is. It's not equal. Black's better here, and you'll see why. Magnus is going to outplay him. Solid move. Take away the square from the knight. Not the best move according to the computer, but very solid. Probably 92, 96 here. But just, I guess, knight c1. Wow. Yeah, probably knight d2. Probably bishop c5 or something here. Even c5 could be good with knight d4, but probably won't be played. We like knight c5, maybe f6, maybe rook d8. So many options here for Magnus, and he's way up on time. This is a dream. This is a complete dream for Magnus. I mean, I don't know if I could say this. I would not want to have this position either. I feel like there's a very good chance if I were playing this white less time here, I'd probably lose too. Because it's positionally very, very ugly. There are these weak dark squares. Yeah, logical move. That's what I expect. We'll probably get the trade in knight b3 though. Like if Erdogmus can trade off a couple more pieces here, the positional weakness on d4 and f4 won't be as pronounced. So if he can trade and go knight b3, their chances. Yeah, I would take and go knight b3 here 100%. Just trade the bishops, knight b3. I mean, it's not pleasant, but their chances. Knight b3 here. You have to go knight b3. Only move to play here. You've got to play knight b3. But also, as I look at this, like even this looks so great for black. Yeah, I think I'd be very surprised if Magnus doesn't win this. Short of blundering, Magnus will win. Actually, I think rook d8 here makes a lot of sense. Because now you control the filer's weak pawn. You have f6 somewhere. Basically, the big issue here is this knight is just so good on c5. Whereas this knight on f3, it's hitting a pawn that doesn't do anything. So like you get this. This knight's not doing anything. This knight has multiple squares. And you can try to fight for the d file here. A computer would still draw this very easily against a human. But I don't think that it's a human position to play. Magnus will definitely try to squeeze a win here for sure with black in this game. Because if he wins, he gets white with draw odds. So he'll try to squeeze it. See what we get though. Shaq's knight looks scary. Okay, let's go back to Shaq. What do we get? Okay, rook b4, rook c6, rook c4, queen h5. Apparently this is, wow, this is apparently okay for black. I'd rather have Hans' position though, to be honest. So I think it's easier for white to play. But maybe not actually. Like, okay, you got this. This pawn is very, very dangerous here. Like knight f4. d5, knight f2. I mean, this is actually, there are real chances for Shaq to create complications. As long as he sees rook c4, real chances for complications. Let's go back. Let's take a look at this game. Still no move from Magnus. He's thinking. Looking for the best positional way to continue here. Nepo has somehow climbed to like board 6 out of nowhere. But he is worse here. He's down a juicer, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's down a pawn. So Prague could win also. Prague could win. Oh man. Serrana sacked the rook. And Fabiano's in all kinds of trouble. Yeah, all kinds of trouble. 6, 7. Yeah. b1, queen c5. Yeah, queen c5 and knight d2 is not very difficult to find here. Oh, so Shaq did not play rook c4. He played rook b2. Is there a sack? What's going on? Rook c7? Let me refresh. If you take, it's just checkmate in 2. Yeah, this looks bad for Shaq. Get f6 logical. Move to support the pawn here. I think you have to trade and play like rook d1 and try to save this, but this is very ugly. Like, this is a draw for a computer, but for a human, I think you're going to lose this, like, majority of the time. Majority of the time, you're going to lose this, yeah. Fabiano is going to lose to Serrana. Yes, he's going to lose. He's going to lose to Serrana. Okay, so he's trying to go knight b3 here, but there's a4 to cut off this trade. Like, this just ugly. Yeah, of course Magnus plays it, no surprise. Takes away the knight b3. Like, I guess you try, but Magnus is gonna win this game. That's my prediction. Okay, apparently Prague is much better here. Just b5, guard the pawn, looks good. Final four prediction. There's no tiebreaker here. This is just straight up you play. Serrano just blundered. What? Oh, he didn't go queen c5. Wow. He didn't see knight d2? Huh? Fabi might win this game. Actually, wait. Takes, check. Tricky. Oh, queen e5? Yeah, if knight d2 should be played here. You don't have rook a1, do you? b1, queen b1. Oh, you have checks. Yagiz played what? Played knight e3? Yeah, but it's a bad position because black controls the squares and you have a weak pawn. No, I mean, this knight is just huge on c5. No, I mean, this is... Magnus is going to win. It's not a question. So Magnus is going to win the tournament, basically. Because I don't think there's anyone... He's going to get white in the last round, only needing a draw. Yeah. But Erdogmus will learn from the... he'll learn from this experience, for sure. I think his big mistake was he was trying too hard to be solid. Trying way too hard to be solid at all costs, and then he just played the c4 move, which was just a bad decision. Probably the nerves, honestly, because c4 is not a move that I would expect him to play. Hans? What do we get? Okay. So you go queen e7. Didn't they already have this position? Wait. So he played rook c7, queen f6, rook c8, queen e6 already. So queen f6 again. Okay, trades. Just knight takes, of course. Not pawn takes, because then your structure is going to collapse. There's like knight f4, everything collapses here. Maybe it's not so bad, but... Actually, is it so bad? Maybe not so bad. This is rook f2, knight d5... Rook d2. Maybe not so bad. You have h4, knight g3 later. Hard to judge. Very, very hard to judge what will happen. Just create a kick account for your streams. Thank you so much. #1 Hikaru fan. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, I've seen enough Magnus games to know that he's going to win this. There's no way he doesn't win this. But now he's trying to go for cheese, right? He's trying to go for some kind of cheese here and counterplay, but it just doesn't work, obviously. I like the concept of it. The concept I like, trying to create complications, but it's just not going to work. We get knight f4. Probably h4 with the idea of g5 here. Oh, actually, black threatens g5 to trap the knight as well. Knight has no squares available. So this is the big threat is g5 for Shaq. I mean, he's blunder, but like I told you, he's already in a lot of trouble. c4 was just a huge positional mistake, and after that, it's kind of like not it. See what else we get. Noterback versus 7 looks pretty balanced. Okay, so he goes c5, which actually I think is the best positional move here. I like the concept, though. I like the concept of c5. If Magnus had less time, I could see this still being in play, but with Magnus up 2 minutes, it's very, very hard to see him not winning this game. Very, very hard to see it. White's down a pawn here. That's why it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. White is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I haven't seen enough Erdogmus games. Okay. Okay. So there's b4. There's just rook b8 here, right? Rook b8 with b3, b2. You can also play rook b8 here as well, maybe. Maybe rook b8's better. Yeah, I would go rook b8 here because I think because b4 there might be rook b5. Well, apparently h4 and black's better. Strange, but okay. Magnus missed rook d4. Wait, rook b4? Did I jinx Magnus? Still rook d4 though. What? Huh, okay. It goes rook b6. Understandable move here. I'd be shocked if Magnus doesn't play rook d4 here. Unless he wants to go rook d2, but this is just bad, right? Then rook b4 again. No, I mean, I still don't see it happening. Let's go back. Nepo's game. This has turned into a draw, oddly enough, this one. Bishop g4. Tricky endgame here. Fabi drew when he was up 5 minutes. Okay. We got rook b2, right? Yeah, logical draw. Very logical. Yeah, it's crazy, though, how good computers are. That rook b4 is one slip by Magnus, and white's back in the game. Kind of nuts, actually. But Erdogmus is just too low on time. There's just no... There's nothing concrete here. Probably rook b5, rook f2, rook d5, and then what? h4. Tricky position here. That's what I expected. Just knight e4 back, I guess. Tricky endgame for both sides here. Gukesh losing again? Okay. Gukesh. Yeah, Gukesh has struggled, right? The last 2 games, I think he struggled quite a bit. I don't even see a move. Like, if black plays h4. H4, you have knight g4. Okay, so let's say I go f5. Yeah, it's just all great for black. What, queen d7, I guess? That's what I expected. Some rook b8 trick. Rook b8, very almost impossible move to play here, I think, but it's the best move apparently. Yeah, I mean, basically what I would say about this game is Erdogmus was combination inexperience and just not able to maintain the tension of the position. C4 was really a very, like right here, if you really want to keep it stable, you just go knight g3 and keep the center of the board in play. Yeah, Magnus will win the game. Erdogmus just too long time. Rook d2, queen b4, queen d4, right? Queen d4, just GG, yeah. Typical. Just too good, really. Just too good. Did Shaq blunder? Oh my gosh. Wait, what? There's a trick with rook e5. Oh, you have rook f4. Wow. Still not easy to find, by the way. Yeah, Hans doesn't go for it. That's what I expected. Yeah, I mean, it's very tricky. Very tricky. Probably a draw with perfect play, but time situation very unpleasant for Shakrar here. Very unpleasant. Definitely a draw with correct play, but I don't expect this to be a draw. Yeah, of course Magnus played rook b2, or rook d2 I should say. Yeah, Magnus gonna win. Queen d4, the final hammer here. Don't expect Magnus to miss it with a minute 50 on the clock. Let's take a look. What are the results? Yeah, Magnus going to be on 10. Yes. Yeah, Magnus going to have a 1 point lead going to last round. Just no chance. Hans might win this game actually, but let's see. Rook a3 bad. Yeah, probably Hans will win this because of the time situation, but let's see. I should have bet all my money on Magnus like Hikaru predicted. Easy money. I told you guys 20% is nothing to sneeze at. I told you guys that. 20% is nothing to sneeze at. I told you guys. King f6. Hans has made a complete hash out of this endgame, by the way. Probably just king g6 back, although king e6 is also playable. Yeah, Hans has completely butchered this. Maybe you still check. Of course you go to G7. Knight E7, Knight G3. King F7 is still a very good move here because you have Knight F2. Yeah, if Shaq finds King F7, this is going to be a draw. I think so much to Cheggers plays chess for the get this up thing is so much. Yeah, it's going to be a draw now. Han's going to have to give up this E3 pawn, and it's going to be a draw. Yep. King C4 takes Knight E5, King E7. Yeah, this should be a draw. Should be a draw. Hans really did butcher this quite poorly. Rook E3, of course. Yeah, Magnus won. Of course he won. I mean, not surprising. Yeah, I mean, of course he won. I mean, it's what I told you guys would happen. He tried to control and play a positional game, and he did a very good job of it, and Erdogmus ultimately blinked. Probably just rook E2, although I guess you have to be careful here. Oh, you can just take. Shaq, by the way, also has played very well in this tournament. Very, very well. Yagiz was almost crying. Okay, thank you, guys. Probably just King G6 again. I guess you can go for this, but... Oh, there's a checkmate. Oh my gosh, wait. Wait, where's the checkmate? Wait, I'm blind. Yeah, I think this will be a draw. If he finds this tricky King D4 idea, Hans might win this game still, but I don't really see him finding it because this whole check King E5 is very awkward. He might find it. He does. Okay, let's see. Rook G2 loses the game. Will he take the pawn or not? It's a big moment. I didn't see it on first glance, so it's entirely possible that Shaq will miss it. But actually, doesn't King E5 also... King E5 also looks very scary. So he probably won't take. He'll probably play H4, G4 or something here. Yeah, actually takes King E5 with Knight F8 is very easy to spot. So I don't think Shaq's going to take the pawn because this actually looks horribly scary. But still tricks. Still plenty of tricks in this game. He does play H4. Very, very impressive from Shaq. He might still lose, but he's played a really, really good game. King H6 only move, of course, because checkmate otherwise. This is mate. This is mate. You have to go to H6. Yep. Probably you should go back. This looks scary. There's Knight F7. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's just checkmate. Oh, there's Knight F2. Wow. Hikaru's commentary is way better and funnier than a lot of others. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Actually, d6 would be a funny way to lose because there's a rook d3 and knight c5. But I think this will be a draw here. Oh my god, rook d2. Oh wait, then you have king e3. Still tricky. Oh wait. Still tricky. Wait, still tricky actually. Wait. Still actually kind of tricky. There's king e3 here. It's still a draw. I think I would just take this pawn and just like call it a day here. Noterbeck just blundered his rook. What? Where's Noterbeck? Somehow I don't see Noterbeck's name. I must be blind. Either square should be a draw. But this game's going to go on forever. Yeah, this game's going to go on forever. Just like g4 here. Is there any trick here? GH3. Nice. Who do I want to win? Don't really care. I believe without increment is better for better for what? I don't know. What's with these FIDE payouts? What a joke. First place only 70k. I don't know what you guys want me to say. Yeah, I think rook f3 and then king e8 is the final way to draw this. Just not king e8 because then you get checkmated by rook f7. Yeah, rook f3 actually the only move here, by the way. I'd be fairly shocked if Shaq misses it. Because every other move looks pretty obvious. This is obvious. This is obvious. I mean, it's not. This is the last moment. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. That's insane. How do you blunder that with 40 seconds on the clock? Oh my gosh. That's horrible. That is horrible. Oh my god, that is horrible. That is unbelievable. After you defend the whole game to blunder like that? Wow. He had 40 seconds. How do you miss that? He had 50 seconds. How do you miss that with 50 seconds on the clock? That's so obvious because you can just sack. That's terrible. That's actually terrible. All right, guys, we'll take a short break. We'll come back. Final round. Magnus probably will make a quick draw, so I'll be back in a second. We'll keep going. Final round of the day. Magnus will win, and that's going to do it. So let's just wait for the final round, and I'll be right back. Still a ton of games. Yeah. I muted myself. Okay, I said I'm going to play a couple Blitz games because those two games are still going forever. Yeah. All right, let's go back. Let's watch the games again. Oh my god, this is still going? Oh, come on. What is this? I feel okay. I'm a little bit sick, a little bit sick, a little bit tired, a little bit of everything. This is why increments need to go away. Probably true, but but it is what it is. What is the $100 prize you refer to? Now you go king b5 because the square is covered. Imagine being an organizer sponsor when you have no clue the next round will be played. Obviously. I'd probably just go king c6 here and just hide the king. Even queen d5 probably works here too. But probably king c6 is what I would play. Queen d5 also good enough as well. Go back. Let's take a look at this game. Okay. Ridiculous. They should have like a 2-minute break after this. I assume they'll start the next game very soon. Okay, so it should be it finally. I assume they basically have the pairings prepared, by the way. I assume as soon as this game ends, it'll be like a 5-minute break. Should be over in a second. The break should be literally 5 seconds or 5 minutes here. It's over finally. This is like way down in the standings. I assume they'll start round 13 very soon. I don't think it's going to be like a 30-minute break. That was a 1-hour game. Jeez. The longest classical game of chess I ever played was a 220 move game against Zhu Chen. I assume they have the pairings ready, right? They're going to start the game right away because they have so much time to get the pairing set. Yeah, and again, those 220 moves. Magnus versus Anish? Okay. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think it's gonna be a quick draw between Magnus and Anish. That's my prediction. Okay, I still don't see round 13, but it'll be here in a second. I bet it's gonna be a quick draw. That's my prediction. I guess I'll start preparing for my recap, assuming it's a quick draw. Try to think about which games I'm going to cover. Magnus versus Hans. Magnus, I guess, versus Erdogmus. Probably the other game that I cover. Oh, let's go back. Finally, here we go. Anish is not going to win. I'll bet you big money that this will be a draw. Aroni is like 80 years old. Not quite. Not quite. Our players on the board, let's see. They should be at the board soon, if I had to guess. Last round of the tournament. Thoughts on silver price? I don't have a big thought on silver. I know silver and gold have gone up a lot. What's the ETF? SLV, I guess. Is that what silver is? Silver was up 9% on Friday. Yeah. This is the last game of the Rapid. I don't think Anish is going to go crazy. I bet it's going to be a draw. That's my prediction. But we'll see. Could be wrong, obviously, but we'll see. I'm not going to play Blitz after this. No, I'm not going to. I will not be streaming tomorrow either, I don't think, but I will stream the final day of the Blitz, I think, for some portion, but I'm a little bit sick. Getting up super early is not really conducive to getting better, so probably I won't stream tomorrow, but we will be streaming on Tuesday. Will I play this event next year? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I would say it's 50-50 at best. I mean, they hold this event over the holidays. Especially as like my family, specifically my parents, get older. I don't like the idea of skipping the holidays and going to play chess, to be honest. I don't like it because time is really the only thing that you have in life, so I don't like it. So I would say it's never going to be better than 50-50 if they continue to hold the tournament over Christmas. It's just the reality, you guys, just the reality. It'll never be higher than 50-50 if the dates are the same. Never be more higher than 50-50. Best time of the year to watch? Maybe that's true because you can sit at home with your family, but for a player, I mean, I can't think of a worse time of the year to hold a tournament. I mean, the reason FIDE holds it over Christmas is specifically because Norway is the only big sponsor of this event, and so Norway pays a lot of money to show it on I think NRK, if I'm not mistaken, which is a public TV channel there, and a lot of people will watch on Christmas, whereas they won't watch any other time. So that's the single biggest reason they hold it over the Christmas holiday. Can't you bring your family traveling all the way around the world? I mean, come on, please be serious. But that's my understanding of why it's over Christmas, because in Norway, a lot of people are at home and they do watch this event. I mean, Norwegians obviously are completely insane to watch chess in this kind of volume, but they do. So that is my understanding of why they hold over Christmas. But for me personally, like, I don't need a ton of money. I don't need the money from like winning this event. And frankly, with time and people getting older and all these things, I'd rather spend time with family than have to be around all these bozos who are with FIDE. I would always say that too. It's also different for people who say, I mean, Magnus brings his family. That's true. But I mean, for Magnus, chess is his life. Chess is not my life. I mean, I will say that. Chess is not my life. Like, I still enjoy competing. But if you look at FIDE, I was thinking about this earlier. The amount of money I made from FIDE this year was literally 0% of my income. 0% of my income this year came from FIDE. I made no money from FIDE, and I still had a great year. So I'm not really worried about that. And it's what it is. So that's just my 2 cents. Yeah, also there are things like the Common Open, of course. That was the easiest payday of my career, probably. I wouldn't say stocks for my life, but I'm just saying I have a lot of other interests. Stocks, real estate. Of course, I do have gold and silver coins, so I do have a collection as well. So that's something that I really like to do in my spare time as well. Though I haven't done anything since the major boom, so I'd be curious to go take a look at pricing. But yeah, that's what I would say. Is broadly speaking, time is what matters. And for me, the Emil's preparing the tweet. Haha, what tweet? I don't know what tweet he's preparing, but I would just say that for me, like, I don't have to do it, so I don't want to. EWC I will play, of course. Yes, EWC I will play. The main sponsor is an American holding company. That is actually the silliest thing I've heard as well. Freedom Finance is not an American holding company. It's a Kazakh company that's listed on the NASDAQ. It's listed on the stock exchange. They are not based in the US. I think they try to claim to be, but they're from Kazakhstan. A lot of Russian influence in that company. So they're not an American company. Games did not start yet, no. I don't know. Did they settle with the DOJ? Because they were under investigation by the Department of Justice, like last year, I think. They were definitely under investigation by the Justice Department. I'm not sure for what exactly, but for something. So, even that I'd say is not super steady. Well, I participate in Freestyle Tour. I don't think Freestyle Tour is going to be a thing next year, but we'll see. So I'm skeptical it'll be a thing, but maybe. I don't expect this to be a long game. I'll say that. I expect this to be a quick draw. If Magnum loses, we will have tiebreakers, but we'll see. I am playing the freestyle tournament in Germany, though. I will say that in February of next year. That I am playing. So anyway, whatever. But yeah, but for people who are asking, like, I mean, I don't have to travel for these tournaments, and I don't really want to be around people from FIDE if I can help it at this point in my career. Like, I don't have to put up with it. I've been successful enough that I don't have to suffer. So I don't really see. I mean, I would always say it's gonna be 50-50 at best whether I play the World Rapid and Blitz. It is never gonna be more than 50-50 if they hold it over Christmas. So, okay. Buhner made the inaugural move today. That's actually funny. Okay. I don't know if the players are on the board yet. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Did people kill someone? Why is it hated so much? It's hated because basically the way chess is the players essentially have no rights, for lack of a better way of putting it, and because there are so few tournaments that have prize money in them, and one of them is the candidates in the world championship, so many players basically become beholden. Like, even if FIDE does terrible things, it's the only game in town. So that's why so many people dislike FIDE. It's the only game in town, and so many players have to play along because they can't make up money any other way. That's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, are the players on the board or what? Are they not started yet? Let's see. Players are not at the board yet. Okay, now Anish is sitting down. Okay, so they're about to start the game. Streaming over the last 3 days is more than first place. No, but it's there aren't many prizes that are earning more money. I'll say that. I could take a look at the prizes. Let's see. Okay, let's go back. It's 70,000 to 70,000 euros. Yes, that's the grand prize. The games have not started yet. Let's see. Oh, Magnus is not at the board again. Where is Magnus actually? He's usually like 10 seconds late. Okay, yeah, okay, there he is. I expect E4, but let's see what we get. Okay. So we get the Alpine Sicilian. Okay, pretty normal stuff so far. 70k is not a bad price. No, it's not bad at all. But I will say there are very few tournaments that have prizes of that level. Freestyle, of course, is a big prize. I mean, there's this World Rapid and Blitz, and Grand Chess Tour, that's literally it for tournaments that have very big prize money at the top. Magnus definitely trying to make a draw here. Me make a draw is the wrong word, but be very, very solid. So on my feet. Here we get D4. I think you can take on D6 here. It's a very weird order. You take, I think. Bishop B5 also moved too, I think. He takes with a pawn. Interesting choice. Goes back for the very rock solid lines again. Magnus trying really hard to keep it super solid. Do I wish I was in this tournament? No, I don't regret it at all. No, I mean I don't miss it at all. I have no FOMO if that's what you're asking. Zero FOMO. Logical. Probably bishop b5 here. Bishop b3 also move, but bishop b5 is the main line here. Do I think in the next few years OTP will be gone forever? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm a little bit sick. I'm not like crazy sick, but I'm a little bit sick. Even though my voice isn't great today, I'm actually, I think I'm better than I was yesterday or the day before. Because it's just my voice is a little bit off. My nose isn't plugged. I mean, my throat doesn't hurt, so it's just my voice is a little bit off now. So probably within a day or two, I'll be back to normal and be completely fine. Okay, e6 or rook d8 are the two moves here. Of course, Hikaru has played this many times from the white side. He played against Ding Loren and many others back during the pandemic days of 2020 with like a bishop e7, queen g4, I think was how it went. But this is all very standard so far. I believe bishop e7 is the main line here, but I think a6 is also a move here. But a6 does a6 lead to a simplification here? No, it doesn't lead to a forced simplification. Get rook d8. Probably bishop e3 to guard the juicer. This is the final match of the event. Yes, correct. When you win the candidates, will you stream after? Of course I would. I mean, if I win the candidates, nothing changes at all. I'll continue to stream. I'll continue to make videos. I'll do all the usual stuff. I mean, the biggest reason that I would like to win the candidates is I can make recaps after the games, because that's something that will never happen otherwise. In the entire history of chess, you will never have someone making recaps after their games if I don't make it there. So from that standpoint, I kind of hope that I do, because nobody else will do that. Literally nobody else will do that. There's an interview with Levon where he says Hikaru is a different breed of chess player. I mean, it's basically the reason is that I don't have any financial worries anymore, so I can just play chess very freely with no issues. My voice is a little bit off because I'm a touch sick. I'm a little bit under the weather, but as I said, I'll be fine very, very soon. Yeah, if I were to make the World Championship, I obviously, as soon as the press conference is over, I would go back to my room and do a recap. Like, because if I don't do it, no one's ever going to do it. That's actually the truth. Okay, Magnus thinking here. He has not moved yet. Interesting. Interesting. Why is Magnus so deep in the tank here? Yeah, I mean, I know you guys are trying to be funny, but I don't care. Making these levy jokes, like, whatever. Like, who cares? Huh, interesting. Okay, so Magnus 100% is trying to force an endgame here. He's trying to force an endgame, and he's going to say that he can't lose this endgame. Computer actually likes Black's position, oddly enough, but let's see. Every Hans post shows him talking to Levon because Levon is the only guy that would talk to him. It's so funny. Probably bishop e3, but let's see what we get. Probably by adjusted for like actual cost of living. I think Anand is probably the richest like serious chess player. If you adjust for like the cost of living of where the person is, I think Anand is probably the richest player of like serious pros. That would be my guess. If you do a straightforward comparison of like actual like money, I think Anand is probably the richest of like the people who made a career out of chess. The reason I say Anand is just because he's from India, where like money goes much further. So like, you know, so yesterday we had this discussion about like what $1 million is worth, and like $1 million in India is like I think $10 million or something. So money is like the value of money in India is like so insane relative to like the US, for example. Magnus lives in Norway. Norway is one of the most expensive countries in the world, so quite different. I said to people who are active. I spoke about active players currently. If we talk about just like people who've played chess for their whole lives and careers, I think it's Anand. I mean, Anand's what, 5-time world champion, played many matches, like did many ads. I mean, it's very hard to believe that he's not the wealthiest if you adjust for where he lives. I'm adjusting for where people are. People don't understand what I'm saying. They think I'm talking pure dollar amounts. I'm not. Saying in India, a dollar in the US, a dollar in the US goes a lot further in India than it does in the US. Magnus Group sold for 80 million, correct? Magnus only got 8 million out of that. He and his dad own 10%. Which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but objectively, if we compare it, like, that's the point. That's $8 million. Just one Vishy Anand match for $1 million goes further in India than that 8 million that Magnus got for the selling the Play Magnus Group. Like, that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, Vishy, one world championship match where Vishy gets $1 million, that's the equivalent of like $10 million in India. So, like, it's just not on the same scale at all. Nepo blundered horribly. Wait, what? Oh, Rook D1's apparently just winning here? Wow. Classic 90-degree right triangles. Yeah, so Magnus going for the draw here. What's this? No, sorry, not Madras. Chennai. Okay. Oslo, Norway. Okay, let's do a comparison quickly. Okay, so by the way, you guys, you can't see this clearly, but I literally just did this. I'll adjust the scene. So basically, you see the difference? So a dollar is 1,000% differential between Oslo and like and Chennai, where Vishy is from. Like, oh, I can change the currency too. Like, so it's not even close. Yeah, look at the difference. At a restaurant, it's $2.23 in Chennai versus $24.98 in Norway. Like, I mean, yeah. McDonald's $4.45 versus $14.99 less. But yeah, I mean, you see the differentials. Yeah, like, you see the differentials. So let's get back to the game. Yeah. It's what I told you guys. You're acting like it's not. But so like Vishy's played what, like 5 matches or something. Assume Vishy gets $1 million from every match. That's like $50 million. Like it's a lot of money. Let's be real. Anish could win this, but it's likely to be a draw. I would predict likely to be a draw. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many Vishy won, but I'm just saying on a cost-adjusted basis, I think Anand is probably the richest player, or the richest player. If you look at the income relative to where someone lives, I think he's probably the richest of people who made their money through chess. So yeah. This looks pretty boring. Very, very boring game. Okay, Maxime versus Hans looks normal. Wesley versus Artemiev looks very, very drawish. Arjun versus Shimanov looks sharp. Very, very good pairing for Arjun here, by the way. One of the best pairings. Karbov, maybe. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. 10 million net worth. Okay, you guys. Thank you for that. I'm drinking some tea, hot tea. But go back to the games. It's pretty normal. What else do we have? Fabiano's slowly climbing up. Okay, let's move around. Yeah, Magnus game extremely boring. There's no break. I believe the Blitz starts tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what I believe is happening. All right, I'm gonna use the restroom quickly. I'll be right back. Let's see what happens. But I'm gonna use the restroom. Give me a second. Okay. What happens if Magnus loses? There will be a tiebreaker. Yeah. Cadabra. Okay, Arjun's position. Wait, so what are the results? Okay, Artemiev and Hans both have 9. Shaq's on 9, but he's done. So only Artemiev and Hans could catch Magnus if he loses. This looks like some really deep theory from Artemiev. Artemiev's going to draw again. So that means it's all up to Hans Molman. We'll see what Hans Molman does here. Apparently black's better after queen d6, but tough move to play. I think you want her bishop to give this up to DK. I don't think we're gonna get a tiebreaker. I think this is gonna be a draw. Though, actually, to be honest, I rather like black's position. I know the computer doesn't, but I like black's position here. This doesn't work, I guess. Yeah, if it's a draw, Magnus wins the tournament. Yeah, if Magnus doesn't lose, there's no tiebreaker. It's all over. Let's see what we get. Ooh. That is not a move that I like. I think the game is almost certainly going to be a draw now. After takes, yeah, I think the game will be a draw now. Yeah, draw. As soon as I say the game's going to be a draw, it literally is a draw. Okay. That is hilarious. The timing from me, I was like, okay, now it's going to be a draw because the knight gets to c5, and sure enough, it's a draw. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna end right now. I'm gonna go chill for a few minutes before I start my recap, but hope you guys enjoy the show. Tomorrow I'm not gonna be streaming, but I will be streaming on Tuesday for the second day of the Blitz. Kind of want to take a day off tomorrow, recover my health a little bit and everything. So congrats to Magnus Carlsen, the winner of the World Rapid Championship. Very deserving winner, especially today when he played some really good chess at critical moments. So that's gonna do it for now, but I will be back on Tuesday to cover the second day of the Blitz, and obviously stay tuned to my YouTube for my recap from today. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon. See you guys. Bye.